So you've just started to learn the guitar and you're beginning to ask that age-old question of whether or not you need to learn music theory. So stick around, guys, because I'm going to be giving you 3 facts as to why I believe you should be learning guitar theory in your guitar learning process. Let's get stuck into it. Hi there guys, my name's Matt Dawson here from Inspire Music School, and I'm passionate about helping beginners learn and love the guitar. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're receiving updates as to when we release new videos. We aim to release a new video every single week. Make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to be giving you one theory tip that you are definitely going to need in order to get a flying start in learning music theory, not only on guitar, but on any instrument. Now, I meet a lot of students that ask me, do I need to learn music theory in order to be great at the guitar? And the answer is no. You don't need to learn music theory in order to be a great guitar player. However, it does actually help a lot. If we imagine music to be a language that we can speak, it's also a very good idea to be able to understand the words that you're actually saying and the sentences that you're actually putting together. You might be able to speak French relatively well, but if you don't understand the intricacies of that language, the sentences that you can actually construct are going to be pretty basic. If you've been learning music theory, please put a comment below. Let us know how you're getting on. Let us know how it's benefiting you in this music learning journey. Point number 1 for whether or not we should be actually learning music theory is learning theory gives us a better understanding of the songs that we're actually playing. If we think about any guitar song that we might be learning, there are chords that exist within this song, and we want to be able to understand how these chords actually all relate to each other. If we understand how these chords relate to each other, we get a better understanding overall of the song structure. We actually understand what makes that song sound the way it does, and it improves our understanding and basic competency of being able to play that song all together. We also get a better understanding as to what chords relate to what key. So say for example, if you're playing in a band and you might have a singer that wants to change the key of your song, you would therefore be able to understand and identify, okay, if I'm in this key and my singer or the band want to change to this key, I know exactly how to transpose my song across and be able to execute that song with the same quality and fluency. Certain songs have different characteristics, and understanding why that song might sound the way it does, might have a minor feel to it, it might have a very kind of jazzy feel to that song, depending on what kind of genre that you're into. Being able to understand the theory behind the song will give you a better understanding as to what makes that song tick overall. Point number 2 is going to be experimentation within any song that you are actually learning to play on your instrument. Now, this is going to be a really interesting thing that you get to grips with as you're learning to play your instrument, but experimentation and improvisation make up a massive part of what we as musicians actually enjoy doing. Let's say, for example, if we're in a jamming circle and we're playing in a certain key and you want to be able to play a solo or take a lead line or improvise a melody, you're going to be coming up with much more interesting ideas that's going to definitely take your playing to that next level. If any of this has ever come up in your music learning journey, put a comment below. Let us know where you're commenting from in the world, and let us know how learning music theory has actually helped you get to grips better with your instrument. We learn a lot of scales, and when we're starting out, we kind of think, why do we need to know these things? Scales actually make up the blueprint to a lot of lead and melody. So if you were, say, for example, wanting to play whatever song it might be, by whatever band it is, you may want to change that solo. If you understand the scale that makes that solo, you are going to be able to improvise with that much more effectively if you understand how that scale is actually put together and how it actually relates to the song that you're playing. Point number 3 is going to refer more to writing songs and actually coming up with your own ideas. Now, maybe when you're starting out, you might be thinking, well, I'm struggling to learn other people's music, let alone try and write my own music. As we've spoken about before, writing melody is going to be a bit of a chore if you don't understand the theory. If you understand the theory behind the songs that you're actually trying to write, you will be able to come up with much more interesting melody lines for singers, for guitar leads, whatever it might be. But in order to do that, you're going to need to know the theory behind what it is that you're actually trying to accomplish. When you're first starting out with the guitar, you have chords that you might be playing, and you want to understand how they, not only how they all relate together, but you want to be able to put chords next to each other that are going to complement each other and be able to build interesting chord progressions. If you understand keys and you understand chord progressions, you're not going to be boxed in by the confines of what you already know. You're going to understand the laws of music much clearer, and you're going to be able to step out and actually come up with much more interesting chord progressions that give your songs that extra buzz that they might need to retain listeners' ear. Let's say you've really jumped in at the deep end and you're actually starting a band. Well, this is going to actually help you make your songs sound different. Let's say you're in a band and you want to write all your own original music. That's fantastic. We need more of those guys out there. But in order for your songs to not all sound exactly the same or sound terrible, you're going to need to understand those laws of music that I keep talking about, and that's definitely what's going to help you add variation to your set list. You're going to want different melodies, different keys, different variations in chord structures and things like that. And if you understand the laws of music and the theory behind the instrument that you're playing, you are definitely going to be able to achieve that much easier. Okay, so let's go over to the whiteboard now, and we're going to talk about the key foundational thing that I would recommend any musician that's learning to play their instrument know before they start diving into any musical theory concepts. And this, guys, is going to give you such a key solid foundation, you won't believe it, and it's so simple to get to grips with. Let's check it out. Okay, so what we've got here is a basic musical alphabet outline, and this is all of the notes that make up the musical alphabet on any instrument. You've got an A, a B, a C, a D, an E, an F, and a G. Now, in between these notes, we have these other kind of little notes that kind of exist in between, and these can be identified by either sharps or flats. This little hashtag symbol that you're seeing here dotted around, these are what we call sharp symbols, okay? They're not called hashtags in the world of music. And these little miniature B, like lowercase b shapes, they are called flat symbols. Now, between A and B, there is another note that exists. It's called A sharp, also known as B flat. Between B and C, there is nothing, okay? So it just goes straight from B to C. From C to D, you've got in between there a C sharp and a D flat. Between E and D, you've got a D sharp and an E flat. Between F and G, you've got an F sharp and a G flat. And between G and A, you've got a G sharp and an A flat. Now, one of the common questions that I get asked is to why we actually need to refer to these as sharps or flats, and how do we know which one is which, considering they are both exactly the same note. If I'm at an A and I want to go up a tiny bit, I'm sharpening that note. If I'm at a B and I'm coming backwards, I'm flattening the note. Now, we could really get into some real technical side as to what that actually entails and, you know, how we can actually see that playing out in our music, but we don't want to get too technical too fast. So if you understand this, the general musical alphabet, you're actually away flying already. Now, the other thing that we need to consider are the distances. You'll hear these things being mentioned in lots of different musical lessons that you may be taking and books that you might be reading. The distances between all of these different notes. These are referred to as tones and semitones. Tones and semitones. Now, the distance between A and B, we would call that a tone. A whole tone. Hopefully you can see that. So if we were to go from A to B, we'll have gone up a whole tone. If we were to go from C to C sharp or D flat, we will have only have gone a semitone. So we won't have gone all the way to D yet. So just to clarify, if I was to go from an A note all the way to a B, that would be the distance of one tone. If I was to go from, say, a C to a C sharp or a D flat, that would be a semitone. Now, even though this is super basic musical theory, there is absolutely no reason why you can't just take what I've just told you and really have it as a foundation for any future musical theory that you might learn. If you understand this basic concept of the musical alphabet and difference between those tones and semitones, you're going to find that you're going to have a better understanding of things like scales and solos and all different things like that. So it's really worth taking this on board and really learning it to the best of your ability. Well, there you have it, guys. 3 tips that will help you better understand as to why you need to consider learning music theory along with your musical instrument training. We hope you found this useful, guys. Please remember to click that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of the great content that we put out each week. You can also check out more videos by clicking some of the boxes that are coming up around the screen now. And if there is anything that you'd like to see us cover, please leave it in the comment section below. And if it's something that we can accommodate, by all means, we will do a video tackling that issue for you. Well, thanks for watching, guys. My name is Matt Dawson, helping guitar players learn and love the guitar. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Have a good one.